Hi everyone, this is Krishna Vandanapu, a Business Applications MVP and Microsoft Certified Trainer. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we will learn how to post a news in SharePoint Online from a RSS feed. Also, how we can intimate the team in Teams channel as an adaptive card using Power Automate. Not least, how we can send the same RSS feed as an email to ensure that team is up to the date. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, this is the best time to subscribe to get all future notifications with new learnings on Power Platform. Before we implement the flow to create a news feed in SharePoint Online, let me walk you through what is an RSS and some of the free news feeds available over web, which are very interesting and helpful when we are creating this kind of a news feeds. Few of them are investing.com. It helps you to understand the stock market, and other one is CNBC, which shows you world level news. My agenda is to update my company and all my developers what is happening at the Power Platform level as a news feed on my SharePoint home site by listening onto Power Platform RSS feed. So when you come to Power Apps Microsoft.com blog portal, which shows you all the latest information related to Power Apps, and click on subscribe, it will give you the RSS feed for all the Power App blogs. Copy this URL because this is the URL we will be using as part of our flow to read the latest blog from Power Apps and post it as a news in SharePoint portal. I logged on to Flow Maker portal. On the home page of the Maker portal, search for a template called RSS to SharePoint. There are some templates already available at Power Automate. Out of that, I am more interested in add a feed from RSS to SharePoint and send an email. I'm going to select this. It lists out all the connectors which are going to be part of this flow. Click on continue, and when you observe, it is listening to the RSS feed and creating a new item in SharePoint list and sending an email. Okay, let us understand what are all the various other listeners or other actions I have against RSS feed. Click on delete on this action. Click on RSS. As part of the trigger, we have only one trigger when a feed item is published, which means that as and when a new item is published onto that feed, it automatically triggers. However, when you go to actions, I can also read all the RSS feed items as part of that RSS feed. In order to use this action, I have to convert my flow from a event receiver to a manual flow. How can I do that is search for manual, select the flow button for mobile, which becomes a manual trigger flow. Once that is done, go ahead and add the action for RSS feed, which is list all RSS feed items. The reason why I am selecting that is while implementing this flow, I don't know when a news feed will come onto Power Apps. Ideally, we should use the trigger which we have discussed just now so that I will be able to post the news immediately. Copy this RSS feed URL for Power Apps and paste that over here. And then I want to list all the RSS feeds generated in the last 1 month. Click on function, and formula for that is I'm adding -30 for UTC now so that I will get my last 30 days and converting it into the Eastern Standard Time. It will give me all the blogs which are published in the last 1 month. Let us see whether we are able to get that or not. Adding the body of this output, and I want to terminate after this. Now let us test this flow and see what is the output I'm getting out of this action. The flow got saved. I'm going to test this now manually. Run the flow. The flow ran successfully and I got the output as like this. Let me copy this output, and if we notice, this is the output we got and all the articles which are created in last 30 days. So this is how I can read the RSS feed as part of my Power Automate. Now I have to iterate through this record set to create a new news post as part of my SharePoint site. Let us see how we can do that. Here is my SharePoint list to add all the Power Platform blogs as an inventory in my home site, and I have added an action to create an entry in this SharePoint list. Before we implement creating a post in Power Automate, let us see how we can create a post manually in SharePoint Online. When you go to SharePoint home site, click on New and click a News Post. It will let you to select one of the template. I will be using this template to create a news post in SharePoint Online. When you say create post, what is the title of this news post and a body which could be one line or multiple lines. If we want to create a news post in Power Automate, we need to get the schema of this news post as part of my Power App action. How could I get that is in the browser, before you click on post new, click on F12 in your keyboard to enable the developer tools or browser settings. Under more tools, click on developer tools. So once you see the developer tool, click on the network tab and enter save page, because we want to see the metadata. That metadata we are interested only while saving this post. I'm going to say sample news and sample news body, and the time I click on post news. Now once the new post is created, when you observe the URL of the news post, it is showing as site pages followed by this title. On the developer tool, select the latest save page action, which is this one. Select this. Under header, scroll all the way down and click on view source, because this is the metadata we require to create a SharePoint site page or a news post. If you want to create under site pages library of SharePoint, and when you notice here, it clearly stating that the type of this metadata is sp.publishing.sitepage. Copy this, come back to the flow, and now we are going to create the actions to generate the news feed in SharePoint. Add an action. I'm going to create a scope because this is going to be more than one action. So I wanted to encapsulate everything under one scope. I renamed the scope as creating a new news in SPO. Now I'm going to add a new action. This time I'm going to add the action under SharePoint, send an HTTP request to SharePoint. Because in this process, first we need to create a page under site library, and then only we can convert that page to a news feed with the help of the metadata. Site name, and the method is post because I'm going to create a new page. As part of the URI field, I'm constructing my URI feed as like this. In this, if you notice, what I'm doing is I'm leveraging the API call to create a page in SharePoint Online by copying my existing page, which is Power Platform -news template.aspx, which is nothing but the post which we have created just before. I renamed it as Power Platform -news template.aspx, and creating the new page with the title of this new news feed. Last but not least, I'm providing the parameter to override the file if the page is already existed. I went ahead and added the header for HTTP request. Once this is created, my next step is I need to get the newly created page reference. How do I get that is with the help of get file metadata action. Click on add new action. Under SharePoint, select the action get file metadata. Now again, my SharePoint site followed by site pages %2f, because I want to use escape sequence for slash, followed by my page name, which is nothing but the title of this blog, which is going to be, when I say title, this is the feed title .aspx. So this will get me the newly created file metadata. Now once we get the file metadata, immediate step is we need to check out the file, because we are going to change the schema of this page to convert the regular page to a news post with the metadata we have copied just before. I'm going to take one more send HTTP request to check out the newly created file. I went ahead and added a HTTP request, and I renamed my action as checkout newly created news post, provided my site URL as my site URL, and again this time also my method is post, but this time my URI is API site pages / pages followed by my newly created item from this action, and then I said checkout pages. Now that we have checked out the file, I can convert my file from a standard file to the template which I want to see as part of my newsfeed. For that, we need to create one more HTTP request to SharePoint action, but this time we will provide body with the metadata we have copied a few steps back. I went ahead and created the HTTP request to SharePoint action, and I renamed that action as create a new news post using news schema, and provided the SharePoint site URL, and again this time also method is post, but URI is I want to make this page as save as draft, because once the page is saved as draft, immediately we can publish. Now we need to add the metadata we have copied a few steps back here, and then we can tweak the metadata with the dynamic values. This is the metadata we have copied while creating the news feed manually. When you notice here, the first thing is this is where my title is coming, which is sample title, which is what we created while publishing the new newsfeed manually. And another one is inner HTML. Under inner HTML only the actual newsfeed body will sit. If we want to add the dynamic newsfeed body, this is a place where we need to update the dynamic data. Last but not least, if we want to give a custom thumbnail for the newsfeed, this is the property we need to change. If you change this thumbnail to any other image, it will render that image. We will see each and everything by changing this value. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this and paste it as part of the body. Under this, here I want to update my title with the dynamic value. What is my dynamic value I'm interested in is my blog title, which is go title. Under RSS feed is where I have my title. Select that. That's my title. Under the inner HTML, I want to add my blog summary, also a link to navigate onto Power Platform blog. The summary of my feed, which is nothing but the RSS feed summary and the link of that particular blog. By making these changes, I will be providing my news feed with the dynamic data. With this, my news page is created with the dynamic data. Last but not least is we need to publish this newly created page. I went ahead and added a new HTTP request action. URI is this time the same API call, but my API type is publish. With this, it will create all the articles as news post in my SharePoint Online site. When I navigate back to my home page of the site, I have a newsfeed web part, but I don't have any newsfeed. Now let me go ahead and run the flow and see how the newsfeed will get generated over here. Go here, save the flow. The flow is ready to trigger, and then click on test automatically with the recent test scenario. Click on test. Okay, the flow got executed, but it has some errors. Let us go and examine what is the error. When we see the error is as part of this, and when I expand this send HTTP request, it shows me the error as bad gateway, but if I just go a little further and see the error, it says that when hosting this page, it contains invalid characters, because when I notice the file name cannot be created with the special character as semicolon, that we can always implement by adding replace of these special characters. But when I go back and look at my home site, I see all the articles are created as a news post on my landing page. And when I click on see all, I see all these other remaining articles with the image as Power Apps icon. If I go ahead and click on any of these news feed, it will take me to the complete news feed of that particular entry. Here, the title of the news and the summary, followed by the link to take me onto Power Platform blog. Now that we know how to create a RSS feed as a SharePoint news, the next step is we want to publish this as part of Microsoft Teams channel as a adaptive card. To create adaptive card as a parallel action for this loop, I want to create one parallel action, and in that parallel action I want to create one more scope to create adaptive card. Click on add new action, select Microsoft Teams. Under Microsoft Teams, select the action post adaptive card in a chart or channel. Under this, first thing is under which channel we wanted to promote this as an adaptive card. Select the team. In my case, I'm selecting my KVN Teams as the standard one, and which channel, general channel I wanted to do. Here we need to provide adaptive card schema. Go to adaptivecards.io. Under that, click on samples. When you click on samples, it will show you all the various samples available. Customize this adaptive card by clicking on try it yourself. It will give you a provision for you to customize the card the way you want. Taking time into consideration, I have already created a schema to post this blog as an adaptive card in Microsoft Teams. Let me take that schema and put it over here. This is the schema I am using to create my adaptive card. Under this, I have provided my text as my title of the blog, and I'm providing the image URL to replace this image URL with Power Apps icon. I have created a variable to generate this image as part of my adaptive card. This is the variable I have created. Last but not least, the action URL to take the user to Power Platform blog. One more parameter I have added, which is MS Team width as full, because I want to see my adaptive card with the full length. If I don't have this, the adaptive card will be very small. Let me take this out and show you how it works, and then we can add it back to see that. And remember, when we are using adaptive card schema as part of Power Automate, the version should be 1.2. If it is more than 1.2, unfortunately, as of today, September 2021, Microsoft Teams is not supporting adaptive card from Power Automate more than 1.2 version. Let me go ahead and run the same flow, but before running, I want to add one more action to send the email to user on each and every new blog. I went ahead and customized the email body as hi team, please find the below Power Apps news with the title as whatever the title I'm getting as part of my iteration, and then followed by I have added this one as a hyperlink. Now if I just run this flow, it will perform three actions. One is to create the news blog in SharePoint Online and sending a adaptive card in Microsoft Teams, and last but not least, sending a email. Let me go ahead and run this flow and see the output. The flow executed successfully because I have added one more action as article, and I'm just replacing the special character, and it went ahead and sent all the adaptive cards. Now if I move on to my Teams channel, I see the adaptive card only up to here, because the adaptive card by default comes only with this width. If I want as a full width, what I have to do is I have to mention my adaptive card in Teams with this parameter as MS Teams width full. If I just rerun my flow with this parameter, what happens is it will trigger the adaptive card with the full width. So, and also when I go on to my email, I see my email is properly generating with the link to my Power Apps blog and also the title and everything. This is how we can create a flow to generate a news feed in SharePoint Online and send a adaptive code in Microsoft Teams and also send an email to my team to a distribution list so that my team will be up to date with any of the feed. I hope you liked and enjoyed watching this video and learned how to create a SharePoint news feed from RSS feed and send an adaptive code in Microsoft Teams channel along with sending an email to a distribution list or to team with the newly created news feed. If you like the video, hit like, add your comments, subscribe to my YouTube channel for all future notifications. Here is my contact information. I'm highly available in Twitter and LinkedIn. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you. Have a nice day.